rather be in hell than regret. Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Let's go. Come on. Dude, I got a new phone today. Oh, look at that sexy beast. Ooh. Little iPhone 16 action. Dude, Fran, let's go. Most of the time with reality. Let's go, Fran. Thank you. Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Anything like I need you. Let's go, baby. Bring it in for a nice soothing guitar solo. And a rock star. It's time for an energy drink at the lovely evening hour of 11 p.m. Here we go. Do you need anything like I need you? Sovaho. Do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Let's go. Do you need... Dude. Oh, pine box! Motherfuckers! Dude, we need a pine box emote. Right? Here we go. Or an urn. Maybe an urn for Trumpy there. The Trumpy urn. Let's go. Oh, shit. Yeah, dude. Dude, I got a new phone. It's nice. I know, like, the iPhone 17s are, like, going to be pre-ordered soon, but I got a 16. There will be no 17 here, right? But it's nice. We all got new phones. We all got new phones today, which was pretty schmancy, right? I've not gotten a new phone since 2020, right? And Jenny, around the same time, Bryce has had his phone since like 2016. But he got a Motorola. He got one of the Razor flip thingies with the multiple screens. 9-iron is versatile. You always take whatever's out. Yeah, no, I feel ya. What I like about this one, though, dude, is my phone has a terabyte of memory, dude. Dude, this thing has a terabyte, bro. Oh, shit. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, I got one of the terabyte iPhones, and then Jenny and Bryce got like 512. Yeah, they got 512. You got a rifle? All right, let's go, dude. Got a new phone this week too, the Samsung Galaxy. Nice. Nice, nice. Love to see it. Love to hear it. Oh, 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 oh. See, what's crazy about the phone, like my phone is essentially the same. I mean, it's the exact same function as the other phone I had. I had like a 12 Pro Max. It's lighter and feels better in the hand, and I think it has a better camera. It's got way more memory, but mine's not that different. Right. Jenny's is definitely a crazy upgrade because hers went from an 8 to a 16. So now she's getting used to some of the new, like having no home button. And Bryce, of course, went from an iPhone 7 to this crazy Motorola Razr Ultra or whatever it's called. But his is one of those phones that flips open and flips in half, but it has a screen on the back side too. And you can like do two different things. You can have half the screen doing one thing and half the screen doing the other. Dude, Engrain, you went to the Mariners game. Let's go, boss. Dude, the Mariners game was nuts. Galaxy 24 Plus, nice. Yeah, dude, the Razr looks pretty cool. I mean, originally Bryce was gonna get an iPhone, but he really wanted the Razr. Right? And it feels like him. You know what I'm saying? It feels like him. So, dude, the cell phones cause brain cancer. Yeah, so does the microwave. Dude, my microwave made me autistic. So, fuck it. Right? You may as well just go all in. Dude, what a game. Though, and Grain, that game was crazy, dude. They finally pulled it open. Right? Dude, that's 3 in a row now. The Mariners need to go on a run. Used to have a Motorola flip. So I had one of the original Razr flip phones, right? Had to leave in the 5th because it was too loud for the kids. Oh, that's too bad, dude. It just got good, right? It got good in like, what was it? Was it the 7th, right? When it fucking opened up, or was that the 8th? It was, the 6th when they fucking scored all those runs? Oh, it was, wasn't it? Let me see. I'm looking right now. I'm looking, and it was the 6th. Yes. That's when they opened it up. Let's go. Yeah, it was the 6th. You check your blood sugar with the candy thermometer. Nice. Dude, I used to have those candy cigarettes when I was a kid. Heard it walking back to the light rail. Nice. Yeah, no, it was a good fucking inning. They finally cracked it open. I mean, dude, it is now. They're like 2 games behind the fucking Astros. They're nipping at the heels of the Astros. Dude, and only, man, there's a crazy run there's a crazy run for the wild card spot. Everybody's making a run. You saw candy cigarettes at a Cracker Barrel? Dude, that's the wokest shit. Right? Dude, I mean, what's happening? Dude, we're in Trump land. right? We're in the Trump zone where nothing is real. Dude, it's like strawberry fucking fields up in this bitch, dude, right? That's how it goes, right? Nothing is real except everything to get upset about. Right? Strawberry fields forever. Nothing is real and everything to get upset about. Dude, fucking A. But, dude, I feel like today was pretty epic. Like today was pretty epic. So I downloaded all the shit from, right? I downloaded all the shit and of course, you know what we're gonna look at, guys? We're gonna start off by looking at the Bible. Okay, the new Bible. Look at this shit. This is Epstein's birthday book. It even looks like a Bible. Isn't that weird? These guys are freaky. Looks leather-bound, volume 1, the first 50 years. Crazy. Oh, let's go. Your cousin played for the Astros. But we are going to look at this. This is wild. Okay? They redacted some of the names. We can see the people. Dude, it does. It is a Bible. There will not be one for the second 50 years. In fact, what year was Epstein born? So he was born in 1953. Okay? So this was 2003. So it was, part 1 was the first 50 years and part 2 was the second 16 years before your unglorious end in a prison cell. Dude, this shit is wild though, bro. I mean, so let's just take a moment here, okay, to sort of like process from a bigger picture of what exactly happened today. So today was the day that the Epstein estate, run by those 2 executors, released a bunch of material that was subpoenaed by the Oversight Committee. This includes the birthday book and a number of other documents. Okay, now, what is so significant about this is now we have tangible proof of this letter that Trump denied being a part of, that he denied existing. And in fact, J.D. Vance is really one of the motherfuckers who is eating the most crow, because J.D. Vance was like adamant that this thing did not exist. Okay? Let's just take a look at J.D. Vance. He was so sure. I mean, there's his tweet, right? Forgive my language, but this story is complete and utter bullshit, said JD. The Wall Street Journal should be ashamed for publishing it. Where is this letter? Would you be shocked to learn they never showed it to us before publishing it? Does anyone honestly believe this sounds like Donald Trump? Yeah, actually, JD Vance, we all believe it sounds like Donald Trump. And in fact, J.D. Vance, if you were to take stock of how you really feel about America's Hitler, we're pretty sure you would know that this sounds exactly like Donald Trump. But dude, he was like way he was way into this, right? There was another one here where Vance said, where's the other one? Let me find it. I think I posted the other one. Dude, I've been going hard on this today, all right? For sure. But yeah, no, this one is the one that I posted here, right? Because this was another one of JD's tweets that said the contention, which is pretty clear if you just read what I said, is that it's bogus for the Wall Street Journal to publish a hit piece without showing us the letter. I have no idea if the book exists. Wall Street Journal won't show it to us. I have no idea if the letter exists. Wall Street Journal won't show it to us. What I find absurd is the idea that Donald Trump was writing poems to Epstein, and I find it equally absurd that a major American paper would attack the President of the United States without revealing the basis for the attack. We all know what's going to happen. They're going to dribble little details out for days or weeks in an effort to assassinate the president's character. Oh, JD. Oh, they assassinated his character. Oh, Trumpy. Right? They won't show us the book or allow us to refute it until they've wrung every bit of fake news out of the story. Right? And everyone will just move on from the fact that the Wall Street Journal is acting like a Democrat super PAC. It's disgraceful, and it's why the president sued. But let me just say this. Let me just say that the president is going to lose the lawsuit. Okay, right? The president is going to, this lawsuit is now done. Now, obviously, J.D. Vance was all in on the this thing doesn't exist. This is a smear campaign. Trump was saying it's a hoax. Okay? Yikes. And what we find out is it's neither. Now, here's what's really interesting about this, guys, is some of the reporting that's been done. Because obviously, guys, the very first thing that happened, hold on one sec. Let me get my fucking mouse. Well, yeah, so Miss Boniface, I think that's one of the contentious things about this. Right? When you look at it, when you said you would have expected the boobs to be bigger. But this is one of the things that's really interesting is how old do you think this person is, right? I think the whole point of this is it is like undeveloped breasts, right? I mean, I look at this and this is not a woman. This is a child, okay? This is a teenager. It's pretty gnarly, you know? It's pretty gnarly that even down to that little detail is like, yeah, he even drew a pre-adolescent girl or like somebody on the very cusp of adolescence when they just, you know, started showing. And he's got his little signature down here for the, you know, the pubes or what have you. But now here's where it gets interesting, okay? Because first off, right off the bat, okay, one of the first things that happened with this, guys, was they started to challenge it, okay? Now, the first thing they did here was they obviously were trying to challenge it. The first thing they went after was the signature, okay? They said, you know what? That doesn't look like Donald Trump's signature, right? Because Donald Trump's signature now is like this. Okay, if you look at Donald Trump's signature now, his signature looks like this. Okay, this is the way his signature is now, where it's a Donald Trump. It's like just a straight fucking thing. Okay, but this is actually a recent signature, guys. What's crazy about the Donald Trump signature is he used to sign his name differently. Okay? Now, the first thing he said was, "This is not my signature," right? But if you look at his personal letters, okay, he was saying defamation, right? But if you look at his personal letters, this is Donald Trump's signature for the 2003 Epstein book. And it's got that crazy long tail. Now, this is his signature in 2001 in a letter to Rudy Giuliani. You see how it also has that same trail? It's like Donald and a line. Then 1998 letter to two New York City officials. It's just, again, Donald and the long tail. July 1998 letter to Rudy Giuliani. Sincerely, Donald with the long tail. A 1995 letter to Giuliani. Donald with the long tail. A May 1987 letter to a New York City official is a little bit squashed, but again, a Donald with a long tail. So here's what's crazy is if this had been faked, okay? If it had been faked, you would have expected that they would have tried to match the signature that you currently see on all of Donald Trump's shit, right? No, I know. We know it's him. But, or if it were faked, whoever faked it this year was aware of Donald Trump's signature back in 2003. But again, when you look at it, they claim it. This is definitely his signature. It is absolutely 100% it. Right? 100% it. And all of these letters, if you look at these old letters, there's the Rudy Giuliani one. There's the one from 98 to Giuliani. AutoPen. Dude, they're trying to claim Tim Burchett actually made some claim about the AutoPen. So that was the first line of attack, was obviously related to the signature. But this is clearly his signature. It's pretty obvious. Now, all right. Now the next line of attack, guys. Hold on one sec here. All right. Now, the next line of attack was about the language itself. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, guys. Because like I said, people have been covering this. People have been looking at the actual thing. Let's go into the birthday book, and we're going to just skip right to Donald's letter real fast, okay? We're going to go right to Donald's, and I mean, this thing is wild, bro. Let me find out what page Donald's is on. So it's in the friends section. Dude, we're going to look at this. This gets pretty crazy, guys. There's some weird shit in here, guys. They redacted all the nudity. Okay, here's the friends. Now we're getting into the Trump section. A lot of animals doing it. All right, here's Donald's. Okay? This is Donald's section here. All right? Now, here's what's really interesting. Yeah, dude, there's some creepy shit. So here's what's interesting too, is obviously this thing is written in the third person. I'm going to go ahead and read this, and then we're going to talk about some of the forensic analysis that was done to look at this, okay? Because there are a couple things in here that are very Trump-specific phrases. Okay, now, first off, it says voiceover. There must be more to life than having everything. Donald? Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Jeffrey? So this is a conversation, okay? Nor will I, since I also know what it is. We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Yes, we do, come to think of it. Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Donald J. Trump. Okay, now, there's a couple things here. Obviously, the word enigma is something that comes up, but the real thing that's interesting is this. A pal is a wonderful thing. And this is really where you start seeing the Trumpism here, okay? Because Donald Trump has used the phrase a wonderful thing repeatedly, okay? Like, for example, here's Trump. I think Brexit is going to be a wonderful thing for your country. See, in the old days, you'd say that's a wonderful thing, right? And we sold it to the Waldorf Astoria, and it was a wonderful thing. But it's going to be a wonderful thing. It's going to be wonderful for the Middle East. A wonderful thing is like, this is a wonderful thing. It's going to be a wonderful thing is a Trump staple. There's literally like 100, 1,000, 5,000 examples of him using that phrase. It is a wonderful thing. Now, what's wild about it is that's not a super common phrase, okay? That is not a phrase that like many people just throw around. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That is a phrase that is absolutely a Trumpism, okay? A Trumpism. Now, another thing you got here is right? Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Enigmas never age. Enigma is another Trumpism. Okay? Right, here we go.
Now, Carson's an enigma to me. I didn't say it.
Dude, he loves that. He loves the word enigma. Okay? Again, enigma is not super commonly used. Okay? And you're right. His vocabulary is small, is very repetitive. Dude, Carolyn, let's go. Thank you. Right? Enigma, anagram, gamine is a young girl. All right. Nice. I think that's fascinating, but I mean, you think Trump is really that crafty? I think that might just be a wonderful, right? That might just be a wonderful coincidence. You know what I mean? I mean, Trump is not really a fucking, you know, it might be the universe just working for us. I know people are doing the gamine and enigma, but I just don't know if Trump would have sorted that out, right? You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, anything's possible. It was 22 years ago. He was in his 50s. I mean, it's also possible that he hired someone to write the poem, right? Jeffrey would? Yeah, Jeffrey might. But well, and so here's the thing is it's possible that enigma and gamine, it may have been something that Epstein, right, may have been about that, where Epstein may have made that connection and they may have used it, right? Like, for example, let me just give you an example. Okay, you ready for this, guys? So when I was like 21 years old, I lived in a house with 4 other dudes in a crazy house in Redondo Beach. Okay, and we had a code. Okay, we use numbers. All right, like for example, if somebody was checking you out, we called it 22. Okay, so what happened is if we were out in a bar and some girl was like looking at one of us in a group, checking them out, we would say, yo, Dean, you're getting 22 over there, right? You're getting 22 at 4 o'clock. And then Dean would know exactly who was checking him out. And we had a number of code words for, like, you know, she's got a boyfriend, for, right? For, like, you know, like, I really want to, like, I'm going to try and hook up with that person, or I'm going to go out and smoke pot, or I've got some blow. Like, we had a whole system of words that we all knew, so we could go out and talk about like all of that party and hookup stuff in public, and nobody would have any idea what we were talking about. We had a significant lexicon of probably, you know, we probably had, you know, I don't know, we probably had, you know, 50 terms of really important shit that we valued at the time, right? So it's possible that Epstein and Trump had some language, you know, but I think, you know, like any of these other crazy stuff, like any of this other crazy coincidences are probably just that. They're probably just coincidences. Y'all have shame about that stuff? I mean, shame about what? About being a young person, like going out and getting drunk and hooking up? Not really. I don't, you know. I mean, I was pretty above board for the most part, right? Recreational, what is snoo? You mean recreational sex? Like, no, dude, I love recreational sex, bro. Are you shitting me? That's the only kind of sex, right? I mean, I love sex with my partner, but even with my partner, it's like recreational. You know what I'm saying? We're not procreating. Dude, I live for recreational sex, bro. That was my entire, right? I have no shame about that. Dude, that's the best kind of sex, boss. For sport, bro, right? Let's go. Yeah, no, I have no shame about that. But I will say there were, like, I definitely had to make amends in some instances where I, like, used dishonesty, right? Because that did occur, not very often. But for the most part, I was pretty above board, okay? I was pretty above board. Like, I was usually pretty upfront about where I stood and how I looked at commitment and why I was investing in particular relationships. There were a handful of times where I was deceitful and sort of like, you know, manipulating my way. And I did when I got sober. I had to go back and make amends for those, right? But for the most part, I was pretty legit. You know, I think I was pretty legit. I was pretty good. I had some friends that were really toxic, like super manipulators, sort of like I don't know, blatantly unfaithful. And that was hard because it was always hard having a friend who's sort of manipulating and being really dishonest with a woman when the woman is kind of like somebody you like and you respect, and you're like, fuck, what do I do here? Like, I want to tell her to run for her life, but I also don't want to lose my friend, you know? And so I got into some situations like that with some of my associates that were complicated because I didn't like watching really good people get hurt. And some of my friends were fucking degenerates. I was like a low grade degenerate, but I've definitely made amends for that shit. I did multiple 12 steps on that behavior. But anyway, back to the situation at hand. Obviously from the language and stuff here, it's pretty clear that this is Trump. Now, here's what I think is more important even than Trump's weird, gross thing, okay? Because if you look at this feels coded very much in a Trump, Epstein, sexual proclivities kind of way, right? Got more to life than having everything. Yes, but it's a secret. We both know what it is. We have it in common, right? Ooh, enigmas never age, right? Maybe they're referring to these young girls, right? And then Trump is saying a pal is a wonderful thing, right? And everything's a wonderful secret. It's very creepy, driven over this little prepubescent body. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, dude, his signature down here is like maybe where the pubic hair is. It's pretty gross, guys. All right? It's pretty gross. Now, on a larger note, though, guys, we have to look at the rest of this book because taken in and of itself, the Trump letter, the Trump addition to this book is weird and a little bit gross. But when you look at the context of this whole book, guys, and you look at the pages in here, you realize really how warped this is, because this is a guy's 50th birthday, okay? And everybody in here has given something having to do with sex, young girls, nakedness, right? Everything in here is some sort of weird inside joke to sexual weirdness behavior. And that's where you start realizing wow, man, when this guy turned 50 years old, a whole bunch of people were all making references to this wild, crazy, devious sexual behavior. Everybody in his circle, everybody who knew him, knew about his proclivities. They knew about it. He was known for this. This was who Jeffrey Epstein was. He was the crazy 14-year-old girl guy that provided these girls and was obsessed with these girls. He had naked pictures and shit all over his house. Everybody who hung out with him knew everything about him. It was not a secret. Now, let's go through this, guys. You ready? Let's go through it. So first, here's the book, looking like a Bible. Then the contents are broken up. All right. First off, right off the bat, you have Ghislaine Maxwell. She's the one who commissioned it. Then there's his family, his brother Mark, and then Paula and Seymour. I'm not sure who they are. Right. Then from Brooklyn, somebody's been redacted. And then there's a handful of people from Brooklyn. All the girlfriends have been redacted. The children have been redacted. Then he's got his friends. Ron Altbach, Leon Black, somebody redacted. Jean-Luc Brunel, that was his partner in MC2 modeling, also died by suicide in a French prison in 2022. He's got Bill Clinton, Alan Dershowitz, right? Bill Elkus, Brian Farron, Henry Jarecki, Nick Leese, Peter Mendelsohn, George Mitchell, Nathan Myhrvold, Joel Paschkow, Joe Pagano, Alberto Pinto, Stuart Pivar, Donald Trump, Henry Rozovsky, somebody else who's redacted, Leslie Wexner, Mort Zuckerman, and an unknown. Then there's a section here that says science, and it's got a handful of names, girlfriends, all redacted, special assistants, all redacted, and business is Ace Greenberg. That's the CEO of Bear Stearns. Ace Greenberg is the guy who was a parent, okay, who was a parent at the Dalton School after Bill Barr's dad hired Epstein and he got pushed out of the Dalton School. Ace Greenberg gave him a job at Bear Stearns. So there you go. Then we also have these guys down here, Jimmy Kane, Ted Sarir, Elliot Volk, and Ira Zickerman. Okay, now here is Ghislaine's, this is Ghislaine's forward, okay? This is her forward. Dude, shit is wild, isn't it? How did we get this information? So the Democrats hijacked a subcommittee meeting of the House Oversight Committee before the break, before they went broke for August, for the August break. There was a subcommittee meeting that was headed up by Clay Higgins, and the Democrats ambushed Clay Higgins, and they brought a motion to order to subpoena all of the Epstein information, and a bunch of Republicans on that subcommittee joined them, and they won the vote. So they forced a subpoena to go out to requisition Epstein documents, and specifically things from the Epstein estate. So this was a Democratic ambush that pulled this off. All right. And I made a video about that too. It was pretty wild. Clay Higgins tried his best to back that off. But so the estate provided this book and a bunch of other documents. If you look at it, there are a total of 4 PDFs. Okay. It looks like we have the last will and testament of Epstein. We have the birthday book. We have the non-prosecution agreement all the way back from Barry Krischer, the one that let off Sarah Kellen and the other lieutenants. And then we have request number 8, which was another exhibit of what looks like, it looks like a phone book. I haven't really looked through that yet, but that looks like a phone book, right? It's a some type of phone book document, and it might be the black book, okay? What's in Epstein's will? Yeah, we're going to look at that too. So where you can find it is by going, I believe, if you go to... you go to the Oversight Committee. Right? If you go to the Oversight Committee, there will be a section. Maybe you search. Yes, it's on the Oversight Committee. It is right here. It's right here. There's a link. I'll put the link in fucking chat. There you go. It's a Google Doc, right? So down at the bottom of the page, you'll see the documents can be found here. All right, and you click on that, and you're able to download them. It's like a Google. It's like a Google, what do you call it? Google Drive thing. Yeah, this thing is creepy. But now, guys, we're just getting in. Okay, we gotta look at this. So let's see. This is Ghislaine's note to Jeffrey saying, Jeffrey, the idea behind this book was simply to gather stories and old photographs to jog your memory about places, people, and different events. Some of the letters will definitely achieve their intended goal. Some, well, you will have to read. You will have to read that, I don't know, something to see for yourself. You will have to read them to see for yourself, I think. I know you will enjoy looking through the book, and I hope you will cherish as much pleasure, I hope you will derive as much pleasure looking through it as I did putting it together for you. Happy birthday. Love, Ghislaine. Now, here's where it gets weird, okay? It looks like there's a birth certificate, right? There's a copy of a birth certificate. There is a picture of Jeffrey Epstein with some soldiers. These were your bodyguards before you began something with presidents and getting the the Secret Service to greet you, right? Something about these were his bodyguards before. Yeah, her penmanship is pretty rough. There's Jeffrey Epstein's fucking Cub Scout graduation from 1963 when he was 10. Okay, this is Jeffrey Epstein when he was little. I presume that looks like him on the left, right? That's got to be him, dude. 57, right? That's him, isn't it? Isn't that him? I think that's him on the left. There he is. This was what he looked like when he worked at the Dalton School. This is early 70s. Then this was his piano and accordion. I guess he taught music lessons or something. Crazy. This is him when he was 11 years old playing the accordion. He was an accordion player. Dude, my parents got me accordion lessons. Jesus, thank God I never took accordion lessons. Okay. Then there's something from Brooklyn to, this is a plane from what you thought was a huge airport of luggage. I don't know. There's some reminiscing about before he was wealthy, before he had the big fucking, the island shit. Obviously now they're Little St. Jeff. This is after he bought the island. He bought Little St. James in like 1998, I believe, 97. Paris, New York, Palm Beach, right? There's a, some various photos of different places. I'm pretty sure this is the Paris fucking flat. From planes to helicopters to trains. Happy birthday. Where do you want it? Coming through the pass. Where do you want it? Again, dude, this is like really, like it's all like sexual, right? The accordion is also a very Bavarian instrument, right? My parents were very into polkas. And so polka music and a lot of swing music, right? The accordion is from more dance music of the old days. The accordion was a German, Bavarian. Certainly there's some Irish, Jewish, yeah. But it was dance oriented, right? A lot of Irish bands have them. The accordion was very much Parisian, absolutely. But it was associated with the music. The accordion was always associated with was dancey and raunchy, I think is a good word. It is a little bit of a grittier instrument, unlike a violin, okay? You know what I'm saying? A violin is like much more, I don't know, like studious, okay? But yeah, man, I got accordion lessons. I never took them. We moved before I got them. So I was never corrupted by it. But now this is, I don't know what this is. Oh, this is the inside of this train, I guess. That's like a little apartment. And now here is some photos of Jeffrey, like with some woman, right? I guess these are young. This is Jeffrey and Ghislaine. I don't know who this woman is. They obviously redacted her, but it's pretty risque here. Now we get into family, okay? Now we have all these old photos of like Jeffrey's family. I guess some of these are probably his mom. This maybe is his dad or his uncle, 1957. That's when Jeffrey was 4 years old, okay? There he is. Right there as he's growing up. Oh my God, look at him, dude. Look at him, dude. He's so freaky looking, right? Then here it says, happy 50th birthday. Now we're getting into the things. May 2003 prove to be the year you are most happy. Dear son, Jeff, I've been very busy reminiscing since Ghislaine asked me to write about you for your book. I keep thinking about then and now. My father drove Seymour and me to the hospital that cold, snowy day in January to become parents of a beautiful, healthy son. Jeff, you have been a good son from day one. and we have been proud of you ever since. I recall you refused to go to sleep unless I had a story from Grandma's golden book that she bought for 25 cents. Dude, this is from her mom, his mom. Grandma visited us every Saturday. Today, you are still an avid reader. Books cost how many dollars? I knew you were an excellent student because your report cards were A+. At age 5, you had your first accordion lesson. Lessons later, teacher Mr. Matos booked you in Carnegie Hall. You won prizes in Prospect Park, right? So he apparently was quite an accomplished accordionist. He played at his bar mitzvah, right? And his Uncle Lenny's bar mitzvah. After a time, you switched to piano lessons, right? Recommended him to Interlochen, right? That's a school. I don't know if it improved your piano. Today, you own a log cabin there. Age 27, Cosmopolitan magazine featured you as Bachelor of the Month. Today, you still hold that title. We objected 100% to your going to Europe at that time. After graduation, we would have seen to it you would travel as a gentleman tourist. Instead, you went with Terry Kafka. I don't know who that is. Terry Kafka. We picture you coming home tired, undernourished, sickly. To our surprise, you look great and had a great time. Your experiences in Europe helped you get a job at Dalton. Today, a limousine awaits you as a dignitary. Jeff, I'm so sorry that Dad can't share the nachos the nachos? Nachos? I don't know what this means. Right? Can't share the nachos we have regarding your achievements? The nachos? The achievement nachos? He would have been overjoyed reading the article about you in the New York Magazine. I was looking at family tapes. We had many, many parties, anniversary parties, etc. You enjoyed being there today. You avoid gatherings, parties. Why? Tonight is the deadline. I must get this manuscript to Ghislaine. If I know me, as soon as I mail it, I will think of what I should have said. Right? So that was a letter from his mother. Okay, and some little thing from his mother. So there's obviously some family shit. I'm not going to go read all of this. I may look through this more detailed, and if I find some interesting shit, we'll come back and revisit it. Nachos is Latin for thorns. Interesting. Okay, is that true? Oh, wait, it's also Yiddish. Nachos is pride or joy. So there is nachos that is Yiddish for pride or joy, right? So that could be it. I could totally picture them doing, like, having some Yiddish here, right? That you're, right, you're, where was it? Right here. Yeah. Your dad can't share the pride and joy we have regarding your achievements. Nachas. Yeah. So yeah, that's probably what it is. Yiddish makes perfect sense. Dude, I know when I was in the fraternity, like there were a lot of Yiddish words that got thrown around with my Jewish fraternity brothers. Right. And many of them were gritty, to say the least. We used to break out the Yiddish for the fucking all the insults. Right. We did a lot of Yiddish. OK, we did a lot of Yiddish to levy insults and get away with it. Right. All right. So let me see. So we got the family stuff. Right? There's a lot of family history. There's pages here. Right? There is, oh my God, dude. Through simpler days, happy 50th. So this must be Jeffrey and this must be his brother, Mark. Dude. There's Jeffrey with his accordion. He was a little musician. I was in a fraternity, yeah, for a little bit. Right? I joined one because I wanted to be popular. and I wanted to make UCLA a less lonely and huge place. And then ironically, it was joining the fraternity that sort of like pushed me into being an artist. Because needless to say, I threw myself into fraternity life and I conformed to my fraternity brothers and the fraternity system. But after about a year of that, I didn't feel like a good human being anymore. And then I started dissecting the fraternity experience and sort of like trashing it. And then I fell out of grace with all my fraternity brothers. And there started a lot of like power struggles because I was still living there because it was so cheap. It was way cheaper than living in a dorm or having your own apartment. I could afford neither of those, but I could afford, like, my rent was like $270 a month, okay, in the fraternity house because there were so many rooms. It was like affordable rent. So yeah, it was pretty wild. But I don't know if I would have become a rock and roller or really lived the artist life that I'd lived if I hadn't taken that journey. It really changed me as a person in a really profound way, right? Yeah. I'm not really a frat boy, but like what's crazy about it is because of my sort of willingness to meet people where they're at and to sort of like find ways to connect, I can go into almost any environment, you know, like I was a frat boy for like a year and a half and I was a crazy, like popular and gregarious one, but it didn't come, you know, it came with a price because it was not really my true nature. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not a good system. I mean, ultimately, from the way that women are viewed, I think the thing that's crazy harmful was the way they view each other, right? Like when you look at fraternities, the way people get in there is by being judged, okay? You have a group of people that take photographs of all these other human beings and you start rating them based on things you want for your fraternity, right? And it is like, I don't know, it's crazy transactional, like unbelievably transactional, you know, because you need like high grades, you need guys that are good at philanthropy, you want some guys that have really wealthy parents, right? We were looking for some guys whose parents were doctors, so we would have access to prescription medications. I mean, dude, it's fucked up, bro. It is like really fucked up. Let me just tell you, you know, I laugh about it now, but it was gnarly. Cheating on exams. See, we never cheated on exams. We weren't really like that. Like the fraternity I was in, like had, I think, more like good students and shit. But it was really hard though, because they were all rich kids, like all rich kids. You know what I'm saying? Like most of the fraternity life is like really rich people. And I was like a poor kid struggling to stay afloat in the rich kid. Nerds. Yeah, no, we weren't nerds. There was a fraternity of nerds at UCLA called Triangle. And they were the architects, engineers, and scientists. Their house was across the street from us, Triangle. And they were all like really, really conscientious students. And we used to go over there when they would have parties and like, we would go like take all the girls from their parties and bring them across to our house. We were such dicks. We were so bad, dude. We were just you're not a good human being. I hate to say it. Like I was not a good human being. I mean, I kind of was. I had the shape of a good human being, but mostly you're not a good human being in that environment. It brings out the worst in you, you know? But I had to go low before I could go high, you know? You know what I mean? I mean, it was hard. I was really a nerd in high school. So in college, I wanted to be the popular whatever, like man about town. And I did that. And then I was like, yeah, this is not a lot of substance here. And I'm not a good human being. So I need to get out of it. Right. you know, but I don't regret the experience though, guys. I feel like I was better off for it. Getting in, getting out. Yeah, I was at UCLA. Everybody there was rich, man. Dude, half of my fraternity brothers were from Beverly Hills, dude. We go to their house. They have like maids, like live-in cooks. And like, dude, my big brother in the house, my bro Craig, he lived in a house in Beverly Hills where like all of the doors in his house, the house he grew up in, all the doors were like 14 feet high, dude. I mean, we went to his house and they have a full like maid staff that made us these crazy sandwiches that were better than a restaurant. He had a shower in his fucking bedroom that had a shower head that was like 3 feet wide that you could stand under this shower head. There was a bench in there and a fucking steam bath in his fucking shower in his bedroom. I mean, it was like a $25 million house, dude. He was so crazy wealthy. Unfucking believable, dude. And I mean, I lived with my parents in a 2-bedroom apartment all through high school. And then I went to these guys' house and their parents were like diamond dealers or movie producers and shit. It was crazy. Dude, the wealth in Beverly Hills is nuts, man. Oh my God. Dude, the wealth. It's like, it's crazy. The wealth is wild. Dude, that shit was nuts. You know, you live with middle-class liberals? Nice. They had a live-in maid? Dude, if you have a live-in maid, I feel like you're on the upper edge of middle class, right? You know what I'm saying? Had a double wide? Let's go. All right, so let's get in here now. So we have, let's see. This is Always Family, right? We'll go and look at this fucking a little bit. I don't know what these articles are. Engineering fraternity, let's go, boss. All right, we're going to get into the friend zone. Okay, now here we go. Now we're getting into some stuff. Okay, page 13 of this, and we have a bunch of like IDs. Okay, we got Terry Kafka, which was mentioned, which I guess was a friend of his, right? Or Warren something, Surface and Rapid Transit. I don't know what these are. Warren Eisenstein, driver's education at Adelphi Academy. I don't know what these fucking, there's a taxi cab license. This is his Brooklyn public school. These are photos of him when he was younger. Oh my God, dude. What the fuck is this, bro? This is what he looked like post Dalton school. Right? This, I guess, was from his Bachelor of the Year article in New York Magazine. Here, oh my God, look at him in these photos, dude. These are, I guess, some friends of his. All right, there he is. There he is. He's with some buddies. It looks like they cut and their friends like faces together or whatever. They're making some weird shit. Right? Him and some of his buddies. There he is. Right? You see him there. He's like hanging out with his bros. Here's him and some of his friends. They have a Volkswagen Bug. Him and somebody and motorcycles. There he is. This is like high school shit. Dynamite. Send this poor starving child of nature a nice can of dynamite tuna. All right. Not sure what's going on there. We got these guys in bikini briefs. I could have lived without seeing Epstein in the bikinis. All right, thank you. There's Jeff Older in his bikinis. A little man style. Dude, I like a Speedo, though. I do. I like a Speedo. Bikinis are nice. You can't really wear them in America. You go to Europe, though, and dudes wear them all the time. Dude, if I go to Europe, I'll be wearing them all the time, dude. Dude, I like that shit. It's comfortable. All right, here we go. This is now getting into a weird section. It says, girls on my boat. We picked up girls on beach, went out on boat. I tell them with knife in my hand to take suits off. But Warren tells, don't worry, his name is JN. He's just joking. He live at so-and-so. I tell Mark to throw him into water. He did. Dude, that's crazy. Okay, this is somebody writing a story about them. Here's Jeffrey Epstein, and they're referencing Warren, who is one of the guys from up here, which I think is one of his bros, Warren Eisenstein. Now, again, I don't know if it's hard to tell if like some of these are, it looks like some of these are his friends, right? You know what I'm saying? It seems like some of these are his friends. But yeah, you see that with knife in my hand? I mean, dude, that's assault right there. Okay, we picked up girls on beach, went out on boat. I tell them with knife in my hand to take suits off. Hey guys, that's SA, bro. For those of us paying attention, right? Yikes. And then they say like fucking they're right afterwards. They say, just kidding. Just kidding. We're joking. Castaways Volume 1. I was porking some girl in bed. Jeff brings in the maid to make bed. She left screaming and never came back. We're both in bed porking some girls. I said, what do you think? While he's shoving penicillin down my throat. I went the whole day without speaking English. Jeff told everybody I was raised on a boat in Brazil. When I came out of the bathroom brushing my teeth and spit the foam on the floor, Jeff says that's how they do it in Brazil. Okay? Concord Hotel, Jewish singles weekend. Sit us down at table with ugly girls, and I told them, don't you have any pretty ones? We get in room. Jack says, don't touch my hair. You dump water right on his head. Then we set room on fire, throwing food in dining room. No one would serve us, so they put us by the kitchen, gave us all our money back, and told us to leave and never come back. All right, so they're having some sort of storytelling revisiting of the Concord Hotel. Right. Then there's some redacted names. 2 very young girls, probable just 17 plus. Okay, here's where it's getting a little weird, guys. Blank and blank. 2 very young girls, probably just 17 plus. Were riding in my father's caddy, Park Avenue, top down, smooching it up in car, drop dead laughing. Ocean Reef trip. Start off, you get speeding ticket, you're with blank, and her mother's looking at me like I'm a box of candy and shoving food the whole time down my mouth. The boat ride in blank, birthday present boat. Right? Blank, the rabbi's daughter. Jeff would call the house rabbis to say, this is blank's father. I would bring her up to your mother's house and make her take her top off so we could touch her boobs. So as you see, it looked like there was some suggestive, like, yeah, this is like when he was young with his friends and they were already doing very essay type material, right? This is like him coming up with his young punk buddies. All right, now we're getting into from the Kafka guy. Okay, Johnny Boy Kafka. That's somebody, a friend of his. I'm not going to read this whole thing, okay? I'm going to have to go through this a little bit with a fine-tooth comb, guys. We're just kind of gracing over it now because mostly tomorrow's videos I'm going to focus on some of this early stuff. But like, dude, this first handful of pages right here is like really alarming because it's obviously like simple screed, and it's this stuff that is, you know, a group of young male friends storytelling about these adventures, but it has got a real essay, you know, knife in my hand, forcing them to take the suits off, you know, forcing her to take her top off. Like, it's a lot of real, you know, manipulation and aggressive SA things from, you know, from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? super alarming. Yeah, absolutely forecasting what is to come, right? And so the names that are redacted are obviously all of the women, right? All of the women that are mentioned, their names are redacted. All these women that are, right? You know what I'm saying? They're leaving all of them out. They've obviously redacted that shit because those women have a right to privacy. You know what I'm saying? They don't need to be remembered as, you know, the earliest victims of Jeffrey Epstein. All right. So this says, who is this from? This is from his friend Michael. I was supposed to write something funny. Well, I can't think of just a single episode, but rather many years of great time. Seagate, Coney Island, Mark Twain, 188 Lafayette High School, our trip to Greenwich Village, sneaking into the Fillmore East, driving taxi cabs, Max's Kansas City. Max's Kansas City was a club. That was a club that like Andy Warhol and all of the musicians of the, you know, the art scene and like the Velvet Underground, all of those guys hung out at Max's Kansas City. Is a very famous like hipster club in New York City. Wearing my green army fatigue jacket that Uncle Stanley gave me and liberating books from the bookstore on 6th Avenue and 8th Street, aka stealing, right next to Prexy's, home of the educated hamburger. Stories about chronic UTIs, prostate massage, orgies, ice skating in Prospect Park with Terry and me and Warren with scarves on our heads so we could skate during couples only music. So again, they're talking about, you know, urinary tract infections and some women shit, right? Orgies. Cake lights on center ice or lake lights. Something on center ice, lake lights. Yeah, that looks like L's, lake lights on center ice. Bike riding in the middle of the night during allergy season. Herb Alpert records like whipped cream. Paula Seymour, Puggy. Somebody's nickname, Harold Sokol. Maple Avenue getting stopped in Warren's gold VW Beetle. The Shed House and big scarves with huge stripes. Bikini underwear, no underwear. The Shore Theater, right? He's reliving all this shit. Brighton Beach bath. Terry Warren, me and you, now 50 years old. All right. Now there's obviously, this is like some high school shit. Or junior high and high school memories. But yeah, we'll definitely take a deep dive. Oh shit, look at this. This is like when these guys are fucking growing up a little bit. All right, now it goes through the girlfriend section where all of these are redacted. Okay? So all of the names are redacted. We will definitely spend some time going through the girlfriends. We're going to go through all of this shit, but tonight we don't have enough time to go through it all. So we're just going to skim through it and look for things that jump out at us. All right, all the girlfriends' names have been redacted, but this entire section is girls that dated him, girlfriends. The first 50 years, book 2, I don't know what that is. That looks like somebody made that. There's work. This is him in various stages of work. You see him with his 70s hair. Obviously, there's some piano here. He was a bit of a musician. There he is hanging out. Flamingos. There's more pictures with a whole bunch of people, all their faces redacted, all the women in them. Collages, him in a fucking bathtub, right? Him and whoever this girl is, they're all redacted. This looks like before the real, like, Ghislaine Maxwell years. Okay? These are former girlfriends. Now we're getting into when Jeff was getting a little bit more money at this point. I don't know if this is like Wexner's fucking Rolls Royce or what have you. Oh, here's one that's interesting. Look at this. Look at this shit. We have him with the fucking rolls, but look at this. It's Jeffrey Epstein, young, right? 20s. And he's with some woman whose face has been redacted, but look what it says. He is the boyfriend of blank. We think he works for the CIA. Huh. That's weird. Right? That's very strange. Yeah. Then Alberto Pinto is some friend of his, right? Then there's Jeff and somebody. There's other people. It's all redacted. It says Jeff in his various travels, another shot in the bath. Waiting for my foot massage is what it says. Look at this. Are you sure this will make my winky grow? Now he's talking about a penis. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like he's talking about his winky growing and his pants, waiting for a foot massage. Now he's on his jet. Okay. This is crazy. It all happened so quickly from the Hawker to the 727. So now they're going through some type of phase where he went from to mega wealthy. Because guys, he went from a normal working guy working at Bear Stearns to being mega fucking wealthy in a span of a couple years. You know what I mean? And think about this, guys. Think about getting fired from your teaching job and you go work at a financial institution on the ground floor of a stock brokerage or whatever. And then, 6 years later, you're a billionaire. That's pretty fucking weird. That is a pretty wild, fucking curve there that nobody in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s was doing. But here he's now on this small jet with some woman. She's redacted. Here he is skiing. All right. Here he is heading for the blue sofa. Now here's Ghislaine. He promised you what? Now look at how young Ghislaine is. So now we're definitely into the late 80s. And oh yeah, dude, they all knew what he was. Okay. They all knew what he was. There he is in his bikinis. Right? Not a cloud in sight. Now this is, I don't know where this is. I don't know if this is on the island yet. Not a cloud in my sky. And this is the Bel Air Country Club. Okay. Jeffrey and somebody else. Bel Air Country Club for somebody's graduation. There he is with the date. Okay. Here's him and Ghislaine. Right? She's obviously covered. This is when they're dating. They've redacted her, right? But this is, now they're together. And now children, all right? We're going to skip the children part. Oh my God, dude, what the fuck, bro? There's pictures of some kids that are, I don't know, part of his family, but in weird fucking poses and shit. That's really short, but dude, this feels a little weird with the Epstein thing. I don't know who they are, but now we're getting into the friends. All right. And now we're getting to the meat of this thing. 114 pages in, guys. All right. And now the friends is where we're going to see Trump. We're going to see Jean-Luc Brunel. We're going to see all these guys really sharing in Jeffrey's fucking weird, this weird life that he's, very publicly living. All right. So this is Jeff Epstein and his buddy with a knife. And it looks like he's got a little pistol here. They're dressed like bandits. Finally, at the home of our friend, let's call him Mr. Brown, Jeffrey unveiled his plan. To some, it may have seemed a get-rich-quick scheme, but to me, it was pure genius. Rob and kill was the name of the plan. The first victim, blank, to be attacked and brutally plundered. Would she want more than that? On the boardwalk in Venice Beach, broad daylight, the dastardly thieves were never caught. Postscript, I retired from the life, but I recently read an article in New York which led me to believe that my old friend Mr. E had continued on and become an industry leader. So again, right? It's like, it's got this weird sexual assault, kidnapping sort of dominance weirdness. Okay, here's another picture of him and some girl who's redacted, right? Volunteered to help out in surgery at UCLA. Here's Jeffrey with some other people. I don't know who these guys are, but he always looks very creepy in these pictures. And all right, so this is something from Leon. Okay, this is Leon. It says, on the occasion of Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday, a 𝗣𝗢𝗍 is something to be. A 𝗣𝗢𝗍 is something to see. A liver, a lover, a Jeff, a Jeffrey. Let's all give a cheer for today he's 50. 5 decades, L or half century. By birds and by bucks, C's and M's are his key. Blonde, red, or brunette, spread out geographically. With this net of fish, Jeff's now the old man in the sea. Teaching math, trading options, or foreign currency. Green eyeshadow, schemes and plans, a unique tax strategy. Wet dream and 𝗙់ឆનાર, an architect's wild spree. Moscow, Paris, Santa Fe, Alhambra, East Jamboree. Maxwellian delight, a mother's treasure, great joy, most surely. Harvardian patron, brain researcher for extending wannabe, outrageous, iconoclastic, unconventional, spirit-free, best of all, a dear friend. Happy birthday, Jeffrey. Vanity Fair poster child. Okay, so that's what it is. They were referencing the Vanity Fair article because, again, guys, this was done for his birthday in 2003, but there was that big there was like a Vanity Fair article that came out about him, right? The Bachelor of the fucking year or whatever. He was starting to get a lot of press because he was this jet-setting playboy guy that was hanging out with all of the wealthiest and most, powerful people in the country. So that's Vanity Fair poster child. All right. Here's one that says, what does it say? No excuses. Too fast, too much. Please stop. No, I will not stop. The chronometer. Keep going. Right. And I don't know. There's the chronometer. I don't know what that is. Right. There's a little Andy Warholian group of pictures. More Jeff Epstein pictures. Keep going, young man. Right. There's some fucking, Euclid, Archimedes, Pythagoras, Epstein, and Brunel, right? All these equations, G plus 15, right? I don't know if there's some type of code here, but this is from Jean-Luc Brunel, okay? This section is coming in from Jean-Luc Brunel, and it's got a bunch of equations. 10 is the most beautiful number. Do not rush to be 100 years old. It contains the first something integer. And there's some weird math equations here and some highlighted shit ending up with A equals G plus 15. G equals glaze. G equals glaze. M equals 8. Yeah, I don't know what this is, but I wish you every new day happier than every old happy days. Your friend Jean-Luc. Okay, Bill Clinton said happy 50th. Jeffrey, happy 50th. It's what does that say? Amazing. It's reassuring. It's reassuring, isn't it? To have lasted so long. Okay, it's reassuring, isn't it, to have lasted so long? Something all these years of learning and knowing, adventures and something, and to have your childlike curiosity, the drive to make a difference, and the safe something of friends. Right? You need to ask Jean-Luc. Dude, Jean-Luc Brunel is dead. You're not going to be asking him anything. He succumbed to a suicide as well. All right, so Clinton's is pretty bland. Here's 𝗙𝗪𝗛𝗏. 𝗙𝗪𝗛𝗏 says, as a birthday gift to you, I managed to obtain an early version of the Vanity Unfair article. I talked them into changing the focus from you to Bill Clinton, as you will see from the enclosed excerpt. Happy birthday and best regards. So yeah, so this is right before, I guess, that Vanity Fair article came out. Now again, guys, the Vanity Fair article is the one that was written by Vicky Ward. Okay, Vicky Ward was writing this article about the most eligible bachelor. Yeah, I think it said 𝗙ecie 𝗶𝗶𝗹𝗀. And so she was interviewing Jeffrey and interviewing people who knew him. And in the middle of it, she ran into Maria and Annie Farmer. Okay, she ran into Maria and Annie Farmer. And they told them about the darker side of Jeffrey, the 1996 call to the FBI. Now, it's weird, though, because Vicky Ward claims that she tried to include Annie and Maria in the article, and that Graydon Carter, I think, this guy who is the editor of Vanity Fair, Graydon Carter, okay, she said that Graydon Carter, left that out after meeting with Jeffrey, and he altered the article. Now, some other reporters have looked at Vicky Ward's email and have researched this and not found that to be entirely accurate. That it is definitely possible that Graydon Carter was in cahoots with Jeffrey Epstein, but what the reporter found out looking through Vicky Ward's emails is that she never fought to have Maria and Annie Farmer included in her story. Okay, she kind of came out with a tale afterwards when it all came to light. But when you roll back to when she was writing that article, she did not protest it disappearing, and she didn't make it a central tenet of her article. So there's a lot of I don't know, there's not a lot of clarity about how that article ended up leaving those women out and exactly why that never flew, right? All right, here's the Vanity Unfair. They have it, right? And this is the one right here. It looks like they made this. This is a mock cover, right? That they obviously created Vanity Unfair. Who was Jack the Ripper? Was it Jeffrey Epstein? Right? Yada, yada, yada. Right? Bring it on, Jeffrey. Consume me, Jeffrey. Intoxicate me, Jeffrey. Nicole Kidman bears her soul. Jeffrey Epstein's blank rampage. Jeffrey Epstein's bloody summer. Jeffrey Epstein stole my heart. Right? Al-Qaeda in South America financed by Epstein. So they obviously made this cover centered around this. Now, this is still 𝗙𝗪𝗛, I think. Oh, no, this is Bill Elkus. I don't know who that is. We will fucking look into that some more. But again, we're just kind of going through this. Here's an astrology reading here. Oh, here we go. See, now we're getting into it, though, guys, because this picture right here, this is at the island. Okay, this photograph here, these shutters and these the door toppers, okay, the molding, the upper moldings around these doors. Now we're at Epstein Island. Okay, that's where this is taking place, right? So now we're getting into the whatever's going on at Epstein Island. Again, this is on the patio of Epstein Island, leaving you with some interesting friends to entertain instead, right? And so, like, is this one of the interesting friends? This could be a underage girl, perhaps. That's what I'm thinking, right? But this, again, you see these door moldings on the top. This is from the main house of Epstein Island. This is the patio, okay? When we see these pictures, like, let me show you. When we look at 𝗙𝗪𝗪 on Epstein Island, all right, let me find a wide shot. You see this? You see these? This is, okay, this is from a magazine article. There's 𝗙𝗪𝗪. There's Jeffrey on this stone patio with these archways. You see the little moldings on the top and the shuttered doors. They have these outer things that you can close for like hurricanes and like really bad storms. But now we are directly on the island with some reference to interesting friends to entertain. And there's, you know, a covered, redacted, like covered with some type of like little thing of some girl who looks pretty young, okay? That's a young looking body right there. We don't know who that is. Or just some dogs to keep you company. He wasn't always so keen on them. All right? Some dogs to keep you company. And yes, 𝗙𝗪𝗪 is exactly that, right? Dude, I give Tabitha Speaks a shout out. Dude, I love Tabitha. Why, is she in here? If you're in here, Tabitha, let's go. Dude, I love her. She's amazing. 𝗙𝗪𝗪 was one of the 4 women who got immunity. It was 𝗙𝗪𝗪. It was Adriana Ross, right? Leslie Groff and Nadia Marcinkova. Those were the 4 primary lieutenants. But then he would parachute back in, all right, very occasionally taking you by surprise in some far off places. So I guess this is relating to him getting hammered on some whiskey, okay? Or in one of his glorious homes, he likes to share with his friends. Yum, yum. Again, there's a picture of the island, right? But wherever he is in the world, he remains my best pal. All right. And there's Jeffrey and this person. Happy birthday, Jeffrey. I love you. And this is his buddy, whoever is, whoever these guys are. They're friends of his. Dear Jeffrey, this is from somebody. We'll fucking go into that deeper later. Who is this from? Nathan said, I've agonized long and hard about what to write for your birthday. One version was a highly philosophical take on personal perception. I'll spare you the tortured prose, but the gist was that the way we see the world depends on our experiences, how we parse things. You're one of the few people who has influenced how I parse and understand the world, and that version lauded you for it. But that seemed too heavy and pedantic, so out it went. Another version was silly and salacious, since your approach to life has so much of each of these things. A few years ago, somebody at a party asked me, does Jeffrey Epstein manage your money? I replied, no, but he advises me on lifestyle. Right? The guy's eyes bugged out of his head and he said, really? Alas, I'm ill-prepared to comment on your lifestyle in any detail, since I am sadly so far behind that it would be talking about things I know little of. Yet another approach was to comment on our shared interests in science and exploration. But again, it seemed lacking, blah-de-blah-de-blah. So there's pictures from Africa of animals all having sex, right? And animal appendages and shit. Yeah, that's a little weird. Like, we don't need to see the zebra dicks. Thank you very much. Dude. All right, now we're getting into the meat, though. Look at this from Joel. Happy 50th. There's a plane. There's a bunch of women scantily clad. Jeffrey being massaged. Look at this shit, guys. Look. Oh, my God, dude. This is fucked up. This is from his friend Joel, but look at what goes on here, guys. It starts with 1983. That's when Jeffrey was 30. And he's like offering candy, a lollipop, and balloons to a bunch of very young girls at 30. And then look at him at 2003, 20 years later, and a whole bunch of young girls with JE tattooed on their butts. And their like tops are uncovered, obviously, but from an angle where they're kind of hidden. They're in thongs. They're like 4 girls massaging him. This one is obviously massaging the joint. What a great country. This is at his island in the plane. Dude, I mean, it's pretty obvious that his buddy Joel is well-versed in this guy's lifestyle. Wow. That's fucked up, guys. That is some effed up shit, bro. Wow. Yeah, man. It was not a secret, right? Not a secret. Oh, now here's the one you may have seen on Midas, okay? Because this one is fucking crazy, okay? Look at this shit, because this one implicates Trump, all right? This is a fake check that says to Jeffrey Epstein, $22,500, and it's signed by DJ Trump, okay? There's a girl here, a woman whose face has been redacted. This is Jeffrey Epstein holding this check, okay? Now, this says Jeffrey, showing early talents with money and women, sells fully depreciated blank to Donald Trump for $22,500. Now there's a woman here. Okay, dude, V Sneed, let's go, baby. Let's go, dude. Here, let me set up a super chat goal for a dance party. We may need to dance our way out of this. All right, we're going to set it for 45 minutes. All right, they're light blue, $2 or more super chats, not stickers. All right, super chats, but there's the goal, 45 minutes. Let's see if we get it. But look at this, guys. This one is crazy, okay? It says here that he sells a fully depreciated blank to Donald Trump for $22,500. So this is a woman. Fully depreciated means like she's been used up. She's been like whatever, ridden. No, it's not Melania. But so the idea is that Jeffrey used this woman, used her up, tapped her out, and then he sold her to Donald Trump for $22,500. And Donald Trump, like, signed up for this shit. Dude, this is crazy. Let's go, Keeler. But guys, this is fucked up. It says, sold a fully depreciated blank to Donald Trump. Let's go. We are going to dance on the pine box. I'm into it. Dude, Lordy, let's go. You're welcome, boss. We appreciate you. It says, showed early people skills too. Even though I handled the deal, I didn't get any of the money or the girl. All right. That is gnarly. All right. Selling women. Yes, Pinky Parker. That is indeed fucking nasty as shit. That is indeed what's going on. You're the only person who's seen Trump's face. Where did you see Trump's face? I mean, I've seen Trump's face. Where was all this shit in 2015? Yeah, nobody knew about this in 2015, Shane. Right? I'll be honest though. I didn't fucking next to the black square, what, here? Is that supposed to be Trump right there? You think right there that's it? I don't know if that's him. I mean, it could be. it's hard to tell because there's something here that's dark that made me think that was some dark hair, but I don't know the person. Yeah, this doesn't look like Trump. He's got too dark a hair, but maybe. But this is a woman back here. Could be Trump. Let me see. Let's Google real quick. Yeah, this is Epstein right here. So this is a Mar-a-Lago member who joked about this. Right? That's who the Mar-a-Lago member is. Epstein and others holding up. Yeah, see, everybody talks about Epstein and others holding up the check, but they don't specifically say Donald Trump. So it doesn't really look like Donald Trump. But yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing anyone mention it. His name is on the check, right? But I don't think he's in the photo, right? But that is his name on the check, right? Because he's selling the check to Donald Trump. But I think the joke of this, guys, is that I think they wrote the check with Trump's name and some joke about this woman, right? Some inside joke about this woman being fully depreciated. And then they made this photo, I think, for Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. So my presumption, guys, is that she was a woman who had gotten around at Mar-a-Lago, or maybe it was somebody that Trump and Epstein had shared. And so this idea that he was selling her to Donald Trump after he's done with her. I mean, regardless of what it is, it's pretty gnarly. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty fucking, considering all that went on, it's pretty fucking gnarled, bro. Right? And of course, they're all talking about the New York Magazine article. Right? Here's him in Paris and his plane. Santa Fe, Palm Beach, New York, Little St. Jeff. I met Jeffrey as a client, although very quickly, even though we were working together, we became friends. So I consider him first a friend, of course. Inevitable. The first time I met someone crazier than me. This is, again, I'm going to go through this shit when we have more, time, right? I'm going to go through it and find like interesting things to pull it out. There's, of course, Donald Trump's. It's on page 165. This is a painting of some sort that looks very vaginal in a way. right? It looks like a sideways view of a woman's sexual organs, kind of, right? In honor of Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday, specially commissioned by Henry 𝗙𝗎𝗍𝗍. He must be a fucking artist, right? That's part of this thing. There's some directions for chocolate chip cookies. This is more of the fucking math shit. Yeah, this one is really interesting too, because this one, guys, says Leslie, right? But look at this one. It says, Dear Jeffrey, I wanted to get you what you wanted. I wanted to get you what you want, so here it is. And it's just a picture of breasts, right? You know what I mean? Isn't that weird? And then, happy birthday, your friend Leslie. Now, we don't know if that's Leslie Groff, his assistant. Here's Jeffrey and some other people. Somebody's redacted. This is some blank-faced people, right? International funny man of history revealed as alien in disguise. Strange beings from planet near distant star had sinister plot to corner choice real estate on Earth. They'll exhibit curious aversion to food and wine. Ex-president taken in. Leslie, oh yeah, Wexner. That's who it is. Yes. Good call, actually. You're right. It is Leslie Wexner. That's right. I forgot his name was Leslie. Good fucking shout out. So yeah, so there you go. That's Leslie Wexner, right? Wishing him boobs. All right. Yeah, no, this is George Bush. I'm not sure why the face is blurred out though, right? This is George Bush, and this is, who is this? This guy looks familiar too, dude. Science. It's another section here. Crazy old guy. This is how 𝗚C2, his modeling agency, right? 𝗚C2 was from E equals MC squared, right? 𝗚C2 was from MC squared. That's where they got the modeling agency. E equals MC squared. 𝗚C2 was the name of his modeling industry. Modeling agency was Jean-Luc Brunel. The mathematics of life, yada yada. Something about infinite math, blah blah blah. Replicators, game theory, language equation. Here's Jeffrey E. Persona, self-reflections, reflective processes, deliberative processes, reactive processes. All right. They've got some fucking whatever, 6 billion intellects on Earth. But this is the quickest one I've met. They're basically pumping his brilliance, right? Bunch of math shit. He was apparently quite good at math. All right. So I'm not sure. Is he in this picture? He's not in this picture. I don't know who these people are. Right? Some math dudes. Girlfriends. Now, again, we're seeing more women here. He's in his little bathrobe. He's on the plane. These are all redacted. This is pretty wild because it looks like there is like some foot rubbing going on and like people laying on top of each other. Somebody's blocked out. Jeffrey, look at this drawing. Picture the scene without the audience. The girl sleeping on the floor, I believe, had shorter hair then. Does it bring you back memories? I'm thinking of all the great times we had together. You know, you will always be my very close friend, even though we don't see each other so much anymore, right? And so there's a drawing at a piano. There's some girl that looks like she's passed out on the floor. I don't know if this is a like, there's like, I don't know, looks like something smeared all over the walls. It's a very strange picture. Not exactly sure what that is. I received a call from Ghislaine, who I'd worked on massage twice in the last few months, to work on her employer. He is a businessman and he wants you to work on his feet at his desk, she said. My first thought was corns and bunions and a curmudgeon of a man. When I first set eyes on you on March 22nd, 1993, you were sitting behind an enormous desk. Okay, dude, let's pause right here. Because think about this, guys. Whoever wrote this in the girlfriend section said she received a call from Ghislaine to go and massage her employer, Jeffrey Epstein, at his desk, all the way back in 1993. So this is an early stage of Ghislaine seeking out a masseuse or somebody to massage Jeffrey. We don't know that they're seeking actual licensed massage therapists, but all the way back in 93. All right, sitting behind an enormous desk in your office at home on 69th Street in a jean shirt and sweatpants, and your feet were possibly the most beautiful that I had ever seen belonging to a man. I remember thinking that you looked like a more handsome Ralph Lauren. We moved over to a sitting area. I sat on a footstool and worked on your feet while you in an armchair watched me and Ghislaine worked on your shoulders. So there's two people massaging him at once. Ghislaine on the shoulders, this young woman, whomever she is, on his feet. After a few minutes, you gave me that squinched eye look, a mix of calculation and enjoyment, both devouring and yet submissive. That is so you, and moaned a bit, and I thought, okay, this is going well. Within 10 minutes of my being there, you asked me to leave with you guys that night to go to Florida. I had never heard of anything so spontaneous and far-fetched, and yet I know that you were serious. I had a previous engagement. I was throwing a dinner party, and so you said you would see me when you got back and have your secretary call and schedule. You did, and my life was forever changed. I'm grateful, really beyond any words that I can put here, for your friendship, your belief in me, for all that you have taught me, all the opportunities that you have given me, and all the fascinating people you have introduced me to. When I met you, I was so tightly wound, and you were so crazy, and you gave me a happy medium. You showed me how much more I am than I ever thought I was. Your guidance has kept me on track and encouraged me to grow and think bigger. You built my business and my confidence, have sent me on to travels that changed my life, given to me, taking care of my friends and family members. You have taught me how to laugh and think in new ways, protected me and made me feel safe. You have been infinitely patient with me, and I am so blessed. With you, dear Jeffrey, I laugh like a little girl and feel like a woman. I love you. And then there is a heart and an ass, right? Forever Aspen with Francis, Snow Days, the real mushroom, right? And some redacted thing, jizzies, a highly excited and distracted state of mind. There's a bra, some redacted pictures. To a collector of more, we don't know who this is, right? You know what I'm saying? But it's really interesting, right? Because what's crazy about this is we don't know if this person was a victim. Ransom, no, Sarah Ransom was later. she did not meet Jeffrey until like 2006. Okay. And so this person wrote this in 2003. So this one was not Sarah Ransom, but it's interesting that you bring up Sarah Ransom because Sarah Ransom wrote a book about her experience, and she brought up some really good points that during the abuse of the women, a lot of them were really thankful and like felt lucky to have Jeffrey in their life. Okay, despite all the abuse. I mean, I've told the story before about how I was sexually abused by two half brothers, and I actually took care of those brothers when I was younger. I did. Like, it is real common for you to actually care for your abusers. It's a survival fucking technique. Okay, it's a survival technique. And what's interesting about this, Annie, is he used money, right? He used money very effectively with Jeffrey because they would find out like what the girls' dreams were. And then they would essentially like offer to get the girls those dreams, but they would never quite get them there. Okay. But they would like lure them and then they would keep them, you know, financially dependent upon him. I mean, these types of wealthy abusers, they're really good at it. They're really good at breaking people down. So now we don't know the story behind this, right? And yeah, it's really when you have the abused taking care of the abuser, it's not necessarily Stockholm syndrome because Stockholm syndrome is that too, right? But I think Stockholm syndrome is a little bit more pronounced. Okay. That is where they actually like fall in love, right? Or like have like really positive ideations with the abusers. Now, what I'm talking about is before that, even in the earliest stages, what happens is when you're abused, if somebody's like molesting you or abusing you in that way, you learn to sort of keep them in a good mood, right? It's like the better their mood, the better they're feeling, the more likely it is that you're not going to get abused because the abuse usually happens when the person is upset, they're stressed out, right? It is a reaction to their inability to manage their fucking, you know, emotional condition that leads them to act out in the abuse. So abused kids and abused, you know, women will sometimes then cater to the emotional needs of their abusers as an attempt to prevent them from being overwhelmed, to prevent them from having a bad mood. Okay? And that's right. That is like it's like a type of hypervigilance that abused people learn. And I mean, it's not just sexual abuse. Kids that are beaten by their parents will do the same thing to never set the parent off, right? Now, what ends up with Stockholm syndrome is like, I believe it's like even further beyond where like, for example, with Stockholm syndrome, that is when you're like, you know, somebody is like completely controlling you and you are now adopting the belief that they're controlling you is good for you. Okay. That like when you get to the Stockholm syndrome, it's like beyond just the caretaking to prevent, you know, an emotional outburst that could lead to abuse. And now you have the victim identifying with the abuser as somebody that is on their side and specifically there to help them. And like when you get to the Stockholm syndrome, they don't even think they're being abused anymore, right? Now they're full board and identifying with the abuse as though it's like a valuable part of their fucking existence. It's like way out there. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking like at that point, you know, you're like at that point, like this, you ready for this? Let me give you an example. So what would happen with something like Stockholm syndrome is if you have somebody that's sexually abused and whatever, they're caretaking for their abuser, Stockholm syndrome would be when the abused person initiates the sexual contact, right? Now we're getting into where they have developed a positive ideation with the abuse and the abuser itself. And now the abused person is initiating the sexual contact. That would be like where you're getting into Stockholm syndrome type of territory, right? Or yeah, I mean, Patty Hearst, where she was then going out on the robbing with them, right? You know what I mean? It's like somebody kidnaps somebody and then eventually they don't even need to lock them up anymore because they're now like connected with the kidnapper and now identifying with the kidnapper as an actual like benefit or good person in their life. I mean, that shit gets crazy. But the shit I was talking about was not Stockholm syndrome. It's where you are aware you're getting abused and you are aware that you're traumatized, but you're also too young to process it. And so what you end up doing is you just end up trying to cater to their emotional condition to you learn like what you know what I'm saying? You learn what sort of like preemptively leads to your abuse. And then you try to identify that emotional condition in the person and make them better. Dude, it's fucked up. I mean, there's a lot of psychology to the sexual abuse, to that power dynamic. And that's what makes it so fucked up I mean, I can tell you personally with me, right? The hardest thing to unravel in therapy was the fact that my abusers, those two half brothers who abused me, they were not trying to hurt me, guys. They loved me. And they actually loved me outside of the abuse with such a genuine love that it gave me a type of love that none of my other half siblings got in the family. I actually was able to survive my parents' fucking neglect better because of the actual love I got from these people outside of when they were abusing. So it's weird because they abused me, but they also loved me in such a genuine way that they saved me. I actually was less harmed by my parents because of those abusers. And so untangling that and realizing that they weren't these evil caricatures of people, but that they actually loved me. And I had to also separate that they were extraordinarily fucked up and somebody who loves you doesn't do that. But that's what's so confusing about it, is because the people who engage in that crime usually genuinely do love the individual they're hurting. It's really fucked up. It is like so complicated to unravel, but after 10 years of tireless work, I was able to wrangle it. Yeah, the jizzies. A highly excited and distracted state of mind. Yikes. What does this say? It says, to a collector of more than beautiful minds, he whom appreciates architecture, undulating landscapes, beauty marks. I understood years ago after 𝗙𝗽𝗍𝗀 came to the Palm Beach house. I understood years ago after 𝗙𝗽𝗍𝗀 came to the Palm Beach horse show looking for what I thought was a horse, that she was on a mission for a collection of breast photos. A compilation, of course, for you. Look at this shit, guys. This is, again, somebody identifying Ghislaine Maxwell going out looking for sexual things for Jeffrey. I came to see you some months later. You told me to take off my top. With the usual Epstein smile, you looked at my breasts and said, yeah, I was right. Memory serves you correctly. The beauty mark was on the right breast. One quotable memory. To a true friend whom I've shared many complicities, I love you and wish you the best next 50 years. P.S. I know from the phone exchange some years back, you like my bra-er. So, Jeffrey, which word out of this text do you not understand? Just a beauty mark. And I think these are photos of the naked person. This is another one that says, happy birthday to my favorite. Jeffrey, we met in the summer of 1985 at Indochine, which makes us friends for 17 years. During these years, we've had a lot of fun watching each other grow up, but there are a few memories that particularly stand out, which should make you chuckle. First, the day of Clark Schubach brought me over to your apartment and then left. After chatting for a bit, you blurted out, you are a virgin, right? After recovering from embarrassment, I answered, yes. How did you know? And you said, because you talk so fast. Then there was the day we went shopping together at Bloomingdale's. You proceeded to throw me down on the floor, right smack in the middle of the shoe department, started tickling and kissing me all over, right? Next, there was the time I stayed at your house because my apartment was not yet ready to move into. And one morning I woke up and there were white roses all over the room. So I asked who they were for, thinking you had a girlfriend coming over, and you replied, for you. That was one of the most sweetest special moments I've had with you. Then there was blank black tie birthday party. I was so excited that you invited me. Ace Greenberg was there, so I looked really cool, and I just started working at Bear Stearns. So this is somebody who worked at Bear Stearns with him. There was one waiter for each couple. Now that was chic. I still smile each morning at the picture from that party, which you sent me this past July for my birthday. Jeffrey, what I love about you is that sometimes you can be just so sweet and sentimental. Thank you for sharing that part of yourself with me. Next was the time you were driving around with JoJo. Had a craving for frozen yogurt, so stop by for an impromptu visit because you know I always have a treat in the freezer. You were so cute as you entered my apartment with that big grin on your face. And remember the time I was living in California, you invited me to Palm Beach for a visit. Well, you had a guest, and I hadn't seen you in a while and wanted to spend some private time with you, so we went out to the movies alone. Gosh, I could go on, but suffice it to say, I've loved every minute, most every minute I've had knowing you over these past years. All the chats we've had, life lessons, boy strategy, tears to laughter, on and on. I hope I've made you proud and look forward to more adventures. Blah, blah, blah. I love you. Jeffrey and somebody, Halloween party. Jeffrey and some other woman visiting you down in Palm Beach. Can't get a second of privacy with you and a camera around. So this is a woman that he spent some time with. Obviously, he did like the movie theaters. Yes, he met women in movie theaters. Now, in the 70s, there were sex theaters, okay? I mean, I was a little too young. I missed that thing. But in the 60s and 70s, when he was like a teenager and a young adult, right, there were X-rated theaters. This was before you could get this type of material at home. And there were theaters that just played X-rated movies. And people would go in there and do their business in the theater. A whole bunch of people just were in there, you know, yanking it. And it was pretty standard, right? It was, you know, they had them in every red light district. And there were some cities like San Francisco and here in Portland and in New York City, there were some cities, mostly port cities, that were really pretty famous for those types of things. Like San Francisco had, you know, the famous Pussycat Theater. It was like a really big thing. Yeah, Times Square had a bunch of them, but that there was, you had to, like, if you wanted to see X-rated material, that was the only way you could do it, right? You know what I'm saying? Was Pee-wee caught doing that? I mean, he may have, but it was a lot of people did this, guys, back in the day. The Deuce was a great show. All right. But so anyway, this person visited him and was getting photographed a lot. Here's another one that says, my dear Jeffrey, I can write about how I want to cut you into bird head pieces and chew them between my molars until I suck all the blood and juice out of you. No stew, just raw. Or I can write about how you never cease to amaze me with your kindness and generosity to so many whose lives you touch in several ways. Ooh, that really goes deep. Thanks for taking me to gospel. Most importantly, I can tell you how happy you make me by simply being you. Yet no words would suffice to capture what you really mean to me. I'm very lucky to have you in my life. and hope that you know I will be there for you if you ever need me. Happy birthday. P.S. I do not share. Now, there's a good chance, guys, that some of these people that are like redacted here may be some of the lieutenants in his scheme. It is possible that these are some of the victims. There is some heavy duty, like you changed my life kind of thing, but it may very well have been part of the victimizing. Probably. I'm guessing that they were victims. I mean, here's like this photo right here. I think this is 𝗙𝗪𝗍𝗪. Actually, this is at the island, but hold on one sec. Right? If we look at this, there's a photo. Look. Look at this. See that? I think that's her, right? That is 𝗙𝗪𝗍𝗪. Okay? You see her? They have her redacted, but if you look at it, this is her. This is her. She's wearing the same outfit. Okay? I know this photo. This is like a pretty famous photo of 𝗙𝗪𝗍𝗪 getting off his plane on the island, and there she is, and that I think is her, right? She's got the same armband on. You see her? See with the little armband? She's got that little armband on. Pretty sure that's the same outfit. I don't know who's in the back there. Probably another one of them, but like this is, in all likelihood, this might be the same trip. Now, this is 𝗙𝗪𝗍𝗪, who is also the woman from this article. Okay, this is her as well. She is one of the ones who got immunity. Okay, but yeah, I recognize that outfit instantly. This is on the island, Little St. James. Other people says, Booby, happy birthday, you old fart. Don't worry, in case getting older is getting better. Fun memories. 265, the elevator ride. Bloomie's lingerie department. Are you lost? Seagate, the Roots, buying and something lingerie. Am I a personal shopper? Chicken soup. Are you Jewish? Who's the floozy? Jewish, right? AT, what does he do for a living? Do pigs fly? I have made it. Does Shimmy know? To Jeffrey, what can I possibly say to you? You finally made it to the much maligned Siri? I don't know, but you're not getting older, you're getting better, or is it richer? Think back, all we've been through growing up is impossible to do. My dear friend, happiest of birthdays and much happiness. We'll put you on The Bachelor. There's some other stuff here that I'm going to have to read another time. Scary? Is it scary? Growing up is impossible. Scary. Yeah, no, that could be it. Right? Much maligned. Scary. That could be scary. Dude, this shit is wild. All right, now here's a crazy photo collage of Epstein and all kinds of women that are redacted and a whole bunch of people. But there's all manner of women in bathing suits. He looks pretty young there. These are some young photos of him if you look at this. Right? If we look at this shit. These are a lot of women in bathing suits. Everybody's redacted. Hot tubs. He's got a bird or a lizard on his hand. More people in bathing suits. And women on beds. She's also wearing a bathing suit. A bunch of redacted stuff. So we don't know. There's somebody in a bathing suit. A lot of this could be redacted. Some of it, obviously, because they're victims or people. But some of it, I'm sure, is there's some nakedness. And it continues on another page here. There's a lot of redacted photos. Women in underwear and bathing suits and bras and panties in various positions doing the splits. Probably not no suit on there. All the faces are redacted and some other body parts, etc., etc. Assistants. Oh, shit. Here's that photo with Sarah Kellen, right? This is that actual photo we just talked about. Jeffrey, oh Jeffrey, everyone loves you. Fun in the sun. Fun just for fun. Remember, don't forget me soon. Epstein, you rock. You are the best. Thought you might like some bikini shots. And I don't know who this is, but that is not Sarah Kellen. This could be 𝗙់_𝗫𝗠𝗏. Okay, who am I? Before Jeffrey, I was a 22-year-old divorcee working as a hostess in a hotel restaurant. After Jeffrey, I now live in New York City. I've traveled to Paris, London, Milan, Copenhagen. It's just got everything out there. I have met Prince Andrew, President Clinton, the Sultan of Brunei, Donald Trump, Antonio Verglas, Naomi Campbell, Stephanie Seymour, Kevin Spacey, right? Diana Ross, Michael Jackson. I've flown on the Concorde, gone skydiving, taking a flying lesson, seen private quarters of Buckingham Palace, sat on the Queen of England's throne, rode on a racetrack with Max Pappies, learned countless skills. This is interesting. Hold on, a 22-year-old divorcee. Let's find out who this is. Yeah, she's unidentified. Okay, we don't know who this is. This is an unidentified person. All right. And it's not Virginia Giuffre because she was born in 1983, so she was 17. Rena O. Let me see. She was born in 1980. So maybe Ghislaine. No, Ghislaine was up in front. But so far, it looks like nobody has really figured out who this person was. I thought with the origin story like that, with the 22-year-old hotel person, that it would be kind of easy to figure out. But Jeffrey, there are no words to describe how much I appreciate and admire you. I believe you are the most extraordinary person I've ever met and can't believe how lucky I am to become a part of your life. What you have shown and taught me in 1 year is more than most people experience in a lifetime. Okay, so she, in 2002, she met him somewhere around there, 2001, which means she would be born maybe 79. But this doesn't look like Rena O. Like when we look at the fucking, the body, right? That's certainly not, I don't think that's Rena's body. You know? What else can I say but? And then there's some risky photos. Thank you. All right, business. We have some other things. We're kind of getting near the end here. The next 50 years. There's Jeffrey on the island. And these are now photos, I believe, from Ghislaine, right? These are Ghislaine photos, and that's where it ends, 238. It ends with some fucking photos of Jeffrey on the island from Ghislaine. Wow. Dude. Dude, that's wild. That was a mouthful, guys. Holy shit, bro. I don't even know exactly how to process that all, right? Oh, look at this. Look at this guy, right? This guy says, Jeffrey, I remember in the mid-70s you being a star salesman For our tax advantage strategies and hedged option programs, I was running an account for Bob Maxwell. You always had the ability to know everyone and be charming. Was that when you first discovered the Maxwell teenage daughter? Whoa! What the fuck is this, guys? This is somebody remembering. Again, Epstein was born in 1953. So in the mid-70s, he was in his early 20s. But this guy was running an account for Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell. Was that when you first discovered the Maxwell teenage daughter? Now, she was a teenager, right? Ghislaine was born in... She was born in 1961. So she was like 15. Oh, fuck, guys. Did he like know of her when she was a fucking teenager? And then when she became old, he like re-met her or something? Isn't that fucking weird, bro? That is a weird mention there from 𝗙ص𝗹𝗹𝗀. Who is 𝗙ص𝗹𝗹𝗀? He's some wealthy person. A professor, 𝗙ص𝗹𝗹𝗀, an investment professional with an MI. It's probably this guy, or the president treasurer of the 𝗙ص𝗹𝗹𝗀 Foundation. I'm assuming it was that 𝗙ص𝗹𝗹𝗀 Foundation guy. Dude, that's fucking crazy. She told the DOJ that her dad didn't know him. Well, yeah, but so what's interesting about this, though, is she did say that they never met. So again, though, that's weird, right? This guy was running an account for Robert Maxwell, and he says you always had the ability to know everyone and be charming. So this is making it seem like he did know him. Now, there's a lot of perjury in Ghislaine Maxwell's thing to begin with, because she said she did not remember putting this book together. This is 238 pages with a whole bunch of people saying Ghislaine reached out to me, including Jeffrey's mom. So she clearly remembers putting this goddamn book together. Okay, so there is definite perjury. Excuse me. There is huge perjury coming from Ghislaine related to this. And now it looks like he may have known, known her dad and known her when she was a teenager. And like, that's really fucking bizarre, man. We're going to have to look into this. This feels like it needs a look. Yeah, man. Holy shnikes, dude. All right. So that's part one, guys. All right. Now, I got to say that I'm actually quite cooked. I feel like I wanted to do some other stuff tonight. I was hoping to, look a little bit of Anna and Cenk, but I'll be honest, dude. I'm fucking beat. I do want to look a little bit at the Trump reaction here. Yeah, this is a lot, dude. This is a lot. But so there was a big reaction. Okay, look at this shit. Look at what Caroline Leavitt said. She said the latest piece published by the Wall Street Journal proves this entire birthday card story is false. Dude, what the fuck are these people on? Right? Like, how much copium is Caroline Leavitt fucking snorting off her fucking 75-year-old husband's like scrawny ass wrinkled nutsack for her to think that this proves the birthday card story is false, right? She says, as I've said all along, it's very clear President Trump did not draw this picture and he did not sign it. Bullshit. President Trump's legal team will continue to aggressively pursue litigation. Bullshit. I would love for him to do fucking litigation. I would love to see it, right? I'm serious. I would love to see it. Can you imagine the discovery? Furthermore, the reporter Joe Palazzo, who wrote this hatchet job, reached out for comment at the exact same minute he published his story, giving us no time to respond. Oh, boo-hoo. Fake news. And now she's calling it the Epstein hoax. I did tear into her, though. Right? I did tear into her because this entire thing is bullshit. Okay? This entire thing is bullshit. Yeah, they're not going anywhere with this. But then J.D. Vance said the Democrats don't care about Epstein. They don't even care about his victims. That's why they were silent about it for years. The only thing they care about is concocting another fake scandal. Blah, blah, blah. But I was like, dude, we prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell. Don't you forget it. The only reason Ghislaine's in jail is because of Democrats. You fucking piece of shit. Otherwise, she would have never gone to jail. She would have never gotten prosecuted. And in fact, Trump is trying to get her off after committing more perjury with his personal lawyer. So fuck you, JD America's Hitler Vance. You fucking piece of shit. Dude, JD Vance is a piece of shit. Okay? He is a piece of trash. Yeah. But yeah, I think this says it right here, dude. This right here, what he says here is that it paints a picture of everyone in that book knowing that Jeffrey Epstein was gnarly. Okay? Everybody in that book was well aware that Epstein was gnarly, that Epstein was sexual, he was a deviant. There was a lot of SA references in there. There were references to young children level girls. I mean, they all knew. Everybody in that book was part of the inside joke of his sexual predatory nature and how it applied to very young, vulnerable girls. Okay? All of it, dude. They all know. All right? Let's see. Did Trump even respond? Let's go look at Trump's Truth Social real quick, all right? And let's see if Trump even said anything about it today, okay? All right. He's going off on the fucking immigrant crime. That's his big thing. Every time one person dies, 50,000 people die to guns every year. And these Republicans, these MAGA motherfuckers, they never say peep. Not a word, right? 50,000 deaths every year. But the minute one person gets murdered by an immigrant, or a person with brown or black skin, they will fucking talk about it like it is the first fucking thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Like it is the most important thing on the planet. Dude, it's fucking brutal, man. See, this is crazy. Hold on, look at this. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this shit was nuts, guys. This was this thing where it says 1 in 4 Swedish women will be SA'd because of immigration. They're trying to say migration. But guys, 1 in 4 American women are already SA'd, guys. 1 in 3, 1 in 4 already. Nothing to do with fucking immigrants. Okay? It's literally a massive fucking problem already. He's talking about the auto pen, blah, blah, blah. It looks like not a single mention of this, guys. That's crazy. Not one mention. Not one fucking mention, guys, about this. That's pretty telling, guys, because normally Trump would be like, this is bullshit. All this thing, that's obviously not me. There's no way I drew this. There's no fucking way this, that, or the other. He would be talking about it all day long, attacking everyone about it. You notice not even a mention, not a shot at the Dems, nothing, bro. Completely, like, this is damning. This is fucking damning, bro. Not a single fucking mention of this. Yeah, he is. Dude, he's shitting himself, bro. He is shitting himself. Dude, he's jerking off the Biden auto pen, bro. He's like, oh, Biden. Oh, let me give it a tug. Dude, he's fucked, bro. I saw this thing, dude. Clown show. We'll talk about that at another time, but yeah, man. Not nary a mention. He didn't even mention. This is the only mention we have, which was when was this? This was 3 days ago. Okay. He said the confused and badly failing Democrat Party did nothing about Jeffrey Epstein while he was alive except befriend him. Well, no, they prosecuted him there. They put Ghislaine Maxwell in prison, you shithead. They knew they did nothing about him when he was alive except befriend him, socialize with him, travel to his island, and take his money. They knew everything there was to know about Epstein, but now, years after his death, they, out of nowhere, are seeming to show such love and heartfelt concern for his victims. Does anybody really believe that? Where were they during his very public trials and for all of those years before his death? Yeah, you know where they were? They were not your cabinet member giving Epstein immunity there, fucknuts. The answer is nowhere to be found. The now dying, after the DOJ gave thousands of pages of documents in full compliance with a very comprehensive and exacting subpoena from Congress, Epstein case was only brought back to life by the radical left Democrats because they are doing so poorly with the lowest poll numbers in the history of the party, blah, 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 while the Republicans are doing so well among the highest approval numbers. This is all bullshit. The Dems don't care about the victims, as proven by the fact they never did before. This is merely another Democrat hoax, just like Russia, and all the others, in order to deflect and distract from the great success, blah, 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 the record-setting failure, blah, blah, blah. The DOJ has done its job. They've given everything requested of them. They have not. It's time to end the Democrat Epstein hoax and give the Republicans credit for, like, raising the prices, fucking having a Gestapo roaming the streets and making the entire country unstable and financially killing us. Thank you, MAGA shithead Republicans. But yeah, that's it, guys. He called it all a hoax 3 days ago. Not a peep since. Dude, yeah, he's gonna crack, guys. Okay? Like, if we get this loud and the reporters hone in on this shit, there's a lot for reporters to ask him. He's gonna crack. He is. I think he's a month or two from cracking, because a lot more is coming, guys. A lot more is coming. I think more victims are coming out. They're going to start leaking some names. Somewhere there's going to be a whistleblower at some point. Dude, he's going to crack. All right, you ready? I gotta go make some videos, guys. I gotta get to work. I got a lot of work to do tonight. All right, I do. Dude, my body is so sore from the fucking trip to LA, dude. All that walking, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking beat. Beat, bro. All right. You guys ready? I got the edit mode on. I'm going to go eat a little food, grab a cup of coffee, and get to work. Have a little 2 a.m. coffee and get to work. Sorry we didn't get to the other shit. I did want to cover some of the other stuff with, especially with Anna and Cenk. I feel like there's some shit to look at, see what they're talking about with the Epstein files. They're definitely being some clowns. And again, being those weird right-wing shills. I cannot believe. Can you believe that Anna and the Her Take podcast, you know who they had on? 𝗙ście𝗶𝗶, guys. Fucking 𝗙ście𝗶𝗶. Oh my God, dude. What a bunch of clowns. Yeah, dude. Leave it to PBD, right? You know she's probably bagging on the Dems, I bet. I haven't watched it, but we're gonna watch that tomorrow. I am going to take the Epstein bit a little slow. I feel like tonight we kind of overdid it because we just had to get in there and look at it. We had to dive right in. But from here on out, I'm going to piece it into like smaller, manageable chunks so I can also cover some of the other shit that's going on. I don't want to just cover Epstein. There's a lot of chaos, and I feel like we do need to keep monitoring some of the other shit. I would like to talk a little bit about David Pakman, too. I feel like David Pakman is being really fucking weird, bro. He is being weird. He is, dude. I don't know what's going on with that guy, but he's fucking, I've always thought he was pretty weird, but he's especially been weird lately. Dude, like, that IPAC shit was just weird. Like, come on, man. What's going on, dude? What is going on with him, dude? Something's going on with him. He's like, you know what I mean? He's being a little disingenuous there when he was acting like he doesn't know how to fucking pronounce APAC. That was like, bro, at that point, I'm like, homie is fucking with us. You know what I mean? And so my thing though, guys, you ready? Listen to me though. There are going to be some people in the Democratic caucus, and there are even going to be some people who are progressives that are pro-Israel. That's a fact, okay? If you think the Democratic Party is all going to be people that are just anti-Israel and anti-fucking, like completely pro-Palestine, they're not, okay? That is not the whole party, guys. There's a wide range of fucking people and viewpoints on this subject, which is going to be very complicated for the Democratic Party, how we navigate this, okay? Because I know that there's a section of the Democratic Party who is like, anybody associated with Israel, they're like, fuck you. But like, dude, we're not going to be able to get away with that, guys. We do have to sort out. I mean, first off, there's a difference between the Jewish people and the Israeli government. But the hard thing about it is there are a lot of like, you know, fucking Jewish Democrats or Jewish, like, connected Democrats that don't see, they might even look at what's going on in Gaza and think it's not a genocide. Okay. And that's factual, especially when you start getting into the Midwest. Okay. You go to New York City, where it was Columbia University, everybody there is like pro-Palestine. But like, man, there's a lot of Democrats that are have other viewpoints on this subject. And that's really what's going to be hard is how we navigate this as a party, because the fact of the matter is this. You ready? I'm going to tell you guys straight up, and you may not like what I say, but we do need to ponder it, and we need to figure out how to approach it, because here's the facts. You ready? Listen to me. If everybody right now who is just fuck Israel, right? Everybody who feels like screw Israel, it's a genocide, we can't have any interaction with Israel, right? Blah, 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 right? You take that crew of leftists. If that crew of leftists right now says fuck the Democratic Party and fuck the members of the Democratic Party who don't see the Middle East the way I do, if they leave and walk out and just say fuck this, I'm done with the Democratic Party, you know what happens at that point? At that point, Republicans win every fucking election from here on out, period. And we end up a fascist, Christian, theocratic, fucking, Sharia law of the West. That's it. If the Democratic Party splits in two, we're done. Okay? We are a right-wing dictatorship. And there's no avoiding it. And if you say no, you're full of shit. You have not done the math. Okay? You're living in a fantasy world if you think the Democratic Party splits in two and we don't become a fucking Republican right-wing dictatorship. That's exactly what happens. And so the reality is we have to figure out how we have a left-wing coalition where people have a lot of different viewpoints on this subject, but we're still willing to fight the right-wing viewpoint, which is Israel takes over the whole goddamn Middle East, except for Saudi Arabia and Qatar, right? And the whole thing is like a fucking Trump evangelical funded, race to the rapture. Okay? So we do have to sort this out because there's some factions of the left that are like, they don't want to be yielding on anything related to the genocide in Gaza. And there are other people on the left that are like, dude, they don't think it's even a genocide. And so we have to figure out how to work together. Well, but Shaves, when you say not alienate the left, I'm not alienating the left. Okay? I'm the one saying the left needs to be part of this coalition. But if the left says, you have to do it all our way or fuck you, then I'm not alienating them. They're alienating themselves. They're the ones who are saying, no, you have to respond specifically to Gaza the way we do, or fuck you. You're like, we're not going to have anything to do with you, And so, I'm not doing that. I'm saying the left, we need you. You need to get in here, but you need to learn that, not everybody's going to see the Middle East the way you do. And so you need to be willing to coalition with your other leftists. And if you're not willing to do that, then fine. We're going to be a fucking right-wing dictatorship. Okay? But I am not trying to alienate the left. But I'm also telling you that not everybody is you. And if you can't handle that, then we are fucked. You need to figure that out. Okay? That not everybody is you. Okay? So you need to realize that not everybody in the Democratic Party even thinks it's a genocide. Okay? I believe it's a genocide, but there are some Democrats that don't. And those Democrats that don't, we still have a coalition here to be formed to prevent a fascist takeover in America. Okay? And then once we prevent a fascist takeover in America, we can then start negotiating amongst ourselves to figure out how we're going to fucking handle the Middle East. Okay? It's like, but we can't do both instantaneously. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's hard. We do have to figure that out. All right? You know what I'm saying? It's like we do have to fucking figure this out. And dude, it's hard though, because I've not been good at figuring this out, because I personally have had a lot of people on the left calling me blue MAGA, even though they're the people that are saying the elections were rigged and they're the people trying to take over the party, right? But they're calling me blue MAGA. They've called me baby killers, even though I'm on their side, right? I had some leftists tell me that I'm worse than MAGA, that they consider me calling for a coalition to be worse than MAGA. And so dude, how do I make nice with that? You know what I'm saying? How am I supposed to form a coalition with somebody who calls me a baby killer and says I'm worse than MAGA. I mean, you know, that's not on me, guys, right? That is not on me, okay? And I know that they're reacting because the horrors of what's going on is like really overwhelming to them. I get it. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like I get that. Like we're fucking overwhelmed. But dude, we got to figure it out. But Shaves, these aren't always internet trolls. Some of these people are very prominent people in the left-wing political sphere. I'm not just talking about like the bot accounts. I'm talking about actual fucking leftist voices that have said some gnarly fucking shit to me because I like have said, hey man, we have an umbrella that includes a lot of different viewpoints on this subject, and we can't just kick everybody out of the party that differs with us on this subject, because if we do, it's going to be a Republican dictatorship. And believe me, the right wingers are investing a lot of money and a lot of social media manpower to try and get us to keep fighting each other, guys. Okay? They want to fucking get us to keep fighting each other. You know, Central Committee that's Mike from PA. Like, that guy's pretty divisive, okay? I don't know about that guy, Mike from PA. He's pretty fucking divisive. He does not strike me as somebody who's going to build a coalition for victory, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm being honest, right? He may be being honest, but I'm being honest here. There's not enough leftists to beat the Republican Party right now, okay? You can't beat the Republican Party without fucking the centrists right now. You can't. If you could have, you would have beat them in fucking 2024. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, he's built campaigns, yeah, but he lost. He didn't win his campaign when he ran for Congress. You will notice Mike from PA ran for Congress, but he fucking lost. So, like, what did he build? He built a losing campaign. All right, good. Congrats. We don't need losing campaigns. We need winning campaigns. I mean, I don't hate the guy. I agree with him on a lot of shit. But on a lot of other shit, he seems kind of divisive, and he's not built a winning campaign. He did not get into Congress. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, like, he doesn't know how to win a congressional race, right? Because he didn't, you know? So that's a problem, you know? You know what I mean? But anyway, we're going to talk about this a lot. I'm not going to go into it now. And again, I don't hate Mike from PA, but we do need to stop being divisive, and we need to start figuring out how we can come together. Because if we break up, if the centrists and the leftists break up, then the Republicans will win every fucking election. And the Republicans are trying to get us to break up. Okay? And so we need to figure that out. But I'm going to go fucking make some videos, and I'm going to try to figure it out, right? And maybe one day I'll get on his show and he'll talk to me and we can talk about this. Because I'm a bridge builder, guys. That's what I do. All right? You ready? Let's go, baby. I love you guys. And I'll see you tomorrow. Let's go.
I'm tired of explaining. It's too late because everyone is waiting. That's great. So why are you complaining? You're on blue. If I'm unsure, will anybody notice? It's my fault because I love you on purpose. I'm insecure or just a little nervous. You're on blue. Who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you, tell me who knows you're on blue. When every bruise looks good on you. You found out that nobody is perfect, and you doubt that anything is worth it. Look around, the world is a circus. You're on blue. So provoking, I forgot to mention. Are you joking? I need some attention. And nothing's working to change your direction. direction. You're on blue. Who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. Why won't you hold my hand? Are you gonna deny this? Do the best you can. I haven't got a plan, but I'm gonna survive this. That's just who I am. When you're on blue, you keep everything inside of you. You try to play it cool. Sometimes you gotta break the rules. I don't know why you are confused. All you need is a little bit of attitude. Yeah. This is it. I'm tired of explaining. It's too late because everyone is waiting. That's great. So why are you complaining? You're on blue. If I'm unsure, will anybody notice? It's my fault because I love you on purpose. I'm insecure or just a little nervous. You're on blue. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Starting to enjoy the view. I'm all about the attitude. Who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. Hey, I just wanna change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't wanna hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. You, I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. Hey, I just wanna change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating.